What a night in the Meadowlands, folks. The Philadelphia Eagles fell 34-17 to the New York Giants in Week 6, a game that will sting for a while. And when the dust settled, quarterback Jalen Hurts faced the media and gave perhaps the most Jalen Hurts answer imaginable about the critical interception that turned the tide. 2 simple words. No excuses. No long explanations. Just, bad ball. That's it. That's Hurts in a nutshell. Accountable, composed, and brutally honest. But behind those 2 words lies an entire story about execution, rhythm, and the razor-thin margins that separate victory from defeat in the NFL. Let's rewind to that crucial moment. Midway through the 4th quarter, the Eagles were trailing by 10. Hurts dropped back on a 3-step drop from an 11 personnel look. That's 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 receivers, trying to find rookie receiver Jahan Dotson on a quick-out route. It looked routine at first, but in football, routine can turn into catastrophe in the blink of an eye. Hurts' pass drifted slightly inside, and Dotson's route flattened out just enough to give Giants corner Seor Dale Flott the perfect angle. Picked off. The return set up yet another Cam Scutabo rushing touchdown, his 3rd of the night, and just like that, the game slipped away. It wasn't just one play. It was a reflection of an offense that's been out of sync for weeks. Hurts also missed Devonta Smith deep on a potential game-changing shot, a throw he later admitted was off. His exact words, "I didn't give him a good ball." That's leadership, owning up to your mistakes even when it hurts. But as Hurts himself would say, accountability isn't the goal, winning is. This isn't just about one bad throw. Through 6 weeks, the Eagles sit at 4-2, and something feels off. The offense that once looked unstoppable under Nick Sirianni and offensive coordinator Brian Johnson has sputtered in key moments. Protection breakdowns, miscommunication on routes, and perhaps most concerning, an identity crisis. For the past few seasons, Philly's offense was built around rhythm and physical dominance. The RPOs, run-pass options, that made Hurts an MVP finalist in 2022 are still there, but they've lost their bite. Defenses have adjusted. They're forcing Hurts to win from the pocket, taking away the middle of the field, and daring him to hit the deep shots consistently. It's not that Hurts can't. We've seen him do it. Remember the 2023 Monday Night Thriller against the Bills? Hurts' overtime walk-off touchdown still plays on highlight reels across Philly bars. But lately, the timing just hasn't been there. And let's be honest, losing to the Giants always hits different. The Eagles' rivalry with New York goes back to the 1930s, and in recent years, it's been one-sided. Philly had won 13 of the last 15 meetings before this one. But Brian Daboll's squad came in hungry, desperate, and ready to punch. Their defensive front was relentless. Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence collapsed the pocket repeatedly. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones, often criticized for inconsistency, played one of his sharpest games in months. The Giants out-executed Philly in the trenches, and that's something the Eagles never like to admit. You could sense the frustration on the Eagles sideline. Veterans like Lane Johnson and Jason Kelce, the anchors of this offensive line, were visibly animated after drives stalled. But here's the thing about this team, they've been here before. After all, the city of Philadelphia lives and breathes comeback stories. Remember the 2017 underdog run? Nick Foles, the Philly special, and the franchise's first-ever Super Bowl win? This team's DNA is built on resilience. And Hurts, though just 27, has embodied that since day one. He's a guy who turned being benched in a college championship game into motivation for an NFL career defined by leadership and grit. When asked post-game what went wrong overall, Hurts didn't point fingers. He didn't throw his receivers under the bus or question the play calling. Instead, he said something that sums up the culture in Philly: "We didn't do enough to accomplish the main thing." That main thing, of course, is winning. Let's break down the X's and O's for a moment. The Eagles' offensive sets against the Giants featured a heavy dose of 11 personnel and inside zone runs, typically a strength of this unit. But the Giants countered by walking safeties down, disguising blitzes, and forcing Hurts to make quick decisions into tight windows. Analysts have pointed out that Hurts has been holding onto the ball just a half-second too long this season, enough to kill rhythm. In 2022, his average release time was around 2.6 seconds. This year, closer to 3.0. That difference may not sound like much, but in the NFL, it's the difference between a first down and a fumble. Meanwhile, A.J. Brown, who's usually the engine that jumpstarts this offense, was quieter than usual, finishing with only 4 catches for 49 yards. Devonta Smith saw a few deep looks but couldn't connect. The chemistry feels a tick off, and you can bet Sirianni and Johnson are in the film room this week figuring out how to get back to basics. A visibly frustrated Jason Kelce told reporters, "We've got to play our brand of football again. Physical, smart, disciplined. When we do that, nobody in this league can touch us." Meanwhile, A.J. Brown, always the competitor, added with a smirk, "We'll see those guys again. And it'll be different." Even head coach Nick Sirianni, known for his fiery passion, tried to keep things level. "You win as a team, you lose as a team. We'll clean it up, and we'll be ready for Minnesota." Oh, and speaking of Minnesota, the Eagles now face the Vikings next week. But here's the twist. The Vikings are led by none other than Carson Wentz. Yes, that Carson Wentz, the former face of the franchise, the 2017 MVP frontrunner before injury, opened the door for Nick Foles' legendary run. Now he's back, wearing purple, and you can bet that matchup will carry an extra layer of emotion for both sides. Philly fans haven't forgotten the highs and heartbreaks of the Wentz era. So where does this leave the Eagles? Still in a strong position in the NFC East, but with real questions to answer. The Cowboys are breathing down their necks, and every divisional game from here on out matters. Hurts has never been one to shy away from adversity. As he once said, "You either win or you learn." And if there's one thing we know about this team, it's that they learn fast. So, Eagles Nation, take a breath. Yes, this one hurt. But it's not the end. The season is long, and this roster is built to respond. The fans at Lincoln Financial Field, the most passionate in the league, will make sure the energy is electric when Minnesota comes to town. Until then, the message from Hurts and company is clear. Fix the execution, find the rhythm, and fly high again. Because in Philadelphia, no loss defines them, only the comeback does.